Hey everybody, how are you doing today? So, the other day my wife was playing 80s songs in the kitchen, and one of the songs I heard was Heaven by Warrant. And I just started thinking a bit about power ballads, and I thought to myself, what's the definition of a power ballad? What makes it what it is? A few things kind of struck me as I processed it a bit more. In no particular order, I think the song needs to be about love in some regard. You can't have a song about something else and have it really be this definition of a power ballad. Just my 2 cents. So I also feel it needs to be around 90 beats per minute, or under, I should say. Nothing higher than 90 beats per minute. And it needs to certainly have, most importantly, it needs to have the soft parts, the powerful parts. Hence the name power ballad, right? You need to have the parts where the distortion kicks in and it gets punchy, then back to the pretty parts. So that is what I've come up with. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Maybe you disagree. Maybe there's some important element I'm leaving out. So I decided to ask ChatGPT, what do you think? What's the key features of a power ballad? So it threw out a few things to me. It pointed out that the slow tempo is certainly important. It needs to be emotional. It needs to feature strong vocals, lyrics, soaring guitar solos. And clearly it's usually associated with rock or glam metal bands, hair bands if you want to call it that. So this was very big clearly during MTV's 80s and 90s. Videos brought this stuff to life. So what was the first power ballad ever? Okay, I'll give you a little drum cue here. The first one ever was, think about it, who do you think it could be? Aerosmith, 1973, Dream On, from their first album. That is, I'm pretty sure that's where it all began. Aerosmith will come back to haunt us later as well, in a good way, a good kind of haunting. So a couple years later, 1975, we got the next big power ballad of all time. That is Nazareth, Love Hurts. Think about it. Imagine if like Bon Jovi or Skid Row or somebody did a cover of that. That would definitely, you'd think even more. Of course, that's a power ballad. But it's a little easier to kind of forget it because it was in the 70s and, that's kind of before MTV really hit, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to keep going and we're going to talk about, I call it the evolution. I'm going to list a bunch of songs here. Some I'll talk about more than others, but there's quite a few here, so I can only spend so long on each one. Okay, we're going to look at 1979. Styx came out with Babe. Great song, great lyrics, great vocals. Listen to it again and kind of ask yourself, does that qualify as a power ballad? I think it does. Okay, let's go a couple years later, and we've got Keep On Loving You by REO Speedwagon. The song hit #1 on Billboard. Take It On The Run, REO Speedwagon. It peaked at #5 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1981. So, top 5 hit, not too shabby. Okay, in 1981 as well, we had Foreigners, Waiting for a Girl Like You. And that song got to #2. All right, next two songs are by Journey. 1982, Open Arms, hit #2. In 1983, the classic Faithfully. I'm surprised that it only reached #12. I would have thought that was like a platinum #1. But that's what happened. 1983, some of you might disagree with this, but I definitely consider this a powerful ballad. A power ballad. Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. It hit #1. And man, that song has punchy, her vocals are soaring on that. That is a very massive song. And I'm definitely going to say that is a total power ballad. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Okay, we're going to keep moving on. Okay, we've got Sister Christian, 1984 by Night Ranger. The song got to #5 on the Billboard charts. Okay, we are now up to 1985, and this, in a moment, I'll tell you what surprised me about this. All right, the song is Home Sweet Home, Motley Crue. The thing that surprised me is, on the Billboard charts, it says on internet that it hit #85 at its peak. That is very surprising to me. I thought that song ruled MTV and ruled everything. I kind of consider that to be one of the biggest power ballads ever, really. So, kind of surprised. And I get it, I'm not quite so sure it's about love in the way others are for my definition. But I'm going to use my golden ticket on this one. That belongs in here. Everything about that song, the rest of it. So let's keep on moving. Okay, 1985, we also saw Bryan Adams' Heaven. So that song hit number 1. Some of you might not consider that to be power ballad worthy, but I certainly do. I get it, Bryan Adams doesn't have, big white snake hair or anything like that. But if you listen to the song, everything about it screams power ballad. That's just my opinion. So, all right, 1985, several more things going on. What About Love by Heart? That one hit number 10 on the charts. Can't Fight This Feeling, REO Speedwagon, another number 1 hit. 1986, These Dreams by Heart. It hit number 1. That one's not quite about love. I don't know. There's something about it, though, I feel I have to include it. I don't know. What do you guys think? You let me know. Night Ranger, 1985, number 8 hit, Sentimental Street. I love this song. It's actually one of my favorite ones on this whole list. Great tune. Okay, the next one I think is a massive power ballad. It's one of those that just hits hard in every way. And that is Amanda by Boston. I know we think of Boston more as, rock band instead of big hair. And for sure, I get it. But that song, everything about that is, all those definitions, criteria I gave earlier of a power ballad, that definitely falls into play here. Love that song, by the way. All right, 86, we saw Nobody's Fool by Cinderella. A bit haunting, very powerful. Still, I consider it a power ballad. The song got to number 13 on the charts, by the way. All right, Heart has another one, 1987, Alone. That hit number 1 on the Billboard 100. 1987, we also saw Whitesnake's Is This Love. It hit number 2 on the charts, and I'm pretty sure the song was written for Tina Turner. I could actually picture her singing that, when she was alive. But for whatever reason, David Coverdale decided to have this be his own song. So that's pretty cool. All right, in 87, Motley Crue's Girls, Girls, Girls album was out. And on that album, there is a track called You're All I Need. And that's a pretty dark song. It's about love. It's also about a guy killing his girlfriend. So anyway, that one hit number 83 on the charts. And I'm pretty sure the video got banned on MTV, by the way. But you can certainly find it on the YouTubes. Okay, let's keep on going, because there's a lot of songs here. 87, we saw Kiss with Reason to Live. That one hit number 64 on the charts. Pretty sure I remember Crazy Crazy Nights was pretty big in England. I think it was bigger there than it was here in the States. So, good one. I love that song by Kiss, by the way. All right, in 87, we also saw Sammy Hagar had Eagles Fly. Not a huge chart topper. It peaked at number 82. Okay, we saw Europe had in 1987 Carrie, and that song hit number 3 on the Billboard charts. 88, we saw The Flame by Cheap Trick, and it hit number 1. That is a beautiful song and very power ballady. Okay, next one I'm not really going to include. You can fight me if you want in the comments. I don't consider Patience by Guns N' Roses a power ballad. It got to number 4 apparently on the charts. It's just, it doesn't have the power sections, does it? It's kind of about love, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna disqualify it. Sorry. You can fight me in the comments. I don't care. 1988, we also saw Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. Hit number 1. I'm not really honestly a big fan of the song, but I get it. And that is definitely one of the biggest power ballads of all time, I'm going to say, just from my lived experience. And say what you will about CeCe, but very melodic solos in there. I'm not even really a big CeCe fan, but I'll give him credit. He wrote some very memorable guitar solos in that tune. Okay, what I am a big fan of is the next song. Cinderella, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. It peaked at number 12 in the charts, and that just makes me think of 8th grade in all the best ways. Okay, in 88, we also saw, again, one of my favorite power ballads. Aerosmith released Angel, and that hit number 3 off the Permanent Vacation album, of course. All right, and here's one of the biggest power ballads ever. 1989, we saw Heaven by Warrant, and that one got to number 2 on the Billboard charts. All right, let's keep going. 1989, we also saw Love Song by Tesla. Great song. That one peaked at number 10. Okay, I Remember You by Skid Row, 1989, peaked at number 6. Great song. 89, we also see When I See You Smile by Bad English. That was a big #1 hit for them. Next one is cool. Okay, it's Cinderella Coming Home, another one off Long Cold Winter. It peaked at #20. It's kind of different from all these other ones. It's a bit more of a bluesy power ballad, isn't it? Because, I mean, Tom Kiefer definitely brings out, the bluesy element into his songs and his playing. So, great song. Again, one of the first rock songs I really got into back then. Okay, let's keep on moving. 89, we saw White Snakes, The Deeper the Love. Great track. It hit number 28 on the Billboard charts. In 89, we saw Close My Eyes Forever by Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne. That one hit number 8 on the charts. All right, 1990, we saw Winger have lots of big hits on their first album, and this one hit number 12. The song is Miles Away. Great song. Okay, next one I was a big fan of when it came out, and I still like it. Damn Yankees, High Enough. That one peaked at number 3 on the Billboard charts. Okay, Firehouse. God, that guy had an amazing voice, didn't he? Love of a Lifetime got to number 5. Great song. All right, the next one, I'll Never Let You Go by Steelheart. I was surprised it actually got to number 23 on the Billboard charts. I did not think it got that high. I thought that was just more of a, guys like me listen to that stuff. So I don't know. All right, in 1990, Warrant had the Cherry Pie album, and they had a couple hits. One of which was I Saw Red, and that one hit number 10 in its Billboard peakage. All right, next one, I don't know, is it really a power ballad? Because it's not really about love. Slaughter's Flight of the Angels. Got to number 19. I don't know, by my definition, I guess it's not, but I can certainly see why people would say that it is. Okay, Aerosmith had also in 1990 their Pump album, and What It Takes hit number 9. I guess it's, it's a bluesy power ballad, right? I don't know. I think so. We'll go ahead and say yes. Okay, Warrant also had another hit. That was Blind Faith. That one did not do as well. It got to number 88 on the charts. Okay, now we're up to some Guns N' Roses for you. All right, 1991, we saw Don't Cry, and it hit number 10. Is that one really a power ballad? I don't know. Maybe it's just right on the verge of between power ballad and, kind of being considered rock. But their next one, 1992, they came out with November Rain. That one hit number 3. I would definitely say that one falls into power balladage. All right, this next one, I'm going to just disqualify it. I'm still talking about it here because I know how people are in comments. So I'm going to say To Be With You by Mr. Big is not a power ballad. It is just a ballad. And yes, I realize I left out More Than Words by Extreme. There's no way that could be a power ballad. Extreme is one of my favorite bands, and that song, there's no power in it. It is pure ballad, and I doubt that they'd even argue with me on that. I don't know. Fight me in the comments if you want. This next song came out in 1992. It's Mr. Big's Just Take My Heart. On the Billboard Top 100, it peaked at number 16, which means it was in the top 20. Great band, amazing musicians. All right, now we've got a couple Bon Jovi ones here. 1993, they released Bed of Roses. That one got to number 10 on the Billboard charts. Also, Always, 1994. That got to number 4 on the Billboard charts. In 1996, we saw Journey come back with Steve Perry, and they had When You Love a Woman. That one peaked at number 12 on the Billboard charts. After doing a little research, we're up to the last song on this list. And maybe it's the last power ballad ever. I don't know. At least up till now. Because ChatGPT tried to say that Creed and Nickelback released some songs that are power ballads. Maybe it's just my personal bias, but I'm gonna say no. I can't include those in there. You can tell me what you think in the comments. It doesn't have to be ugly. But all right. So the first power ballad I decided, was Dream On by Aerosmith. And I'm gonna go ahead and say the last power ballad ever was also by Aerosmith, and that was 1998's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. It went number 1, and from what I understand, it was, the biggest power ballad of all time as far as, sales and chart hitting. And it was big in that movie Armageddon, wasn't it? With Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck, and I think Bruce Willis, of course. I remember seeing that when it first came out. So that's my big list. And I'm sure, some people have some opinions on things I've said here or stuff I've missed. Let me know in the comments Love to hear from you. This was fun. So thank you, and bye-bye.